Welcome to the Boys of the Blue Triangle Men's Skill Set. This is month 5, dealing with thinking a bit differently. Week 4, enjoying your life more, and coping in the pressure cooker. Topics covered are understanding the stress response vicious cycle, building coping and survival capacity, strategies for letting off steam and staying out of prison.
Quarter 4, thinking differently. This game, coping with the pressure and managing the stress. Well, first, let's look at the effect of stress. Stress can be a useful force in our lives, one that can motivate us, initiate action, and provide the drive to get us through life's challenges. However, situations that are prolonged or of increased intensity or that get out of control can have negative effects. There are some signals which can warn you when stress is becoming negative. These can be referred to as red flags. Now, the most common red flags are physical ones like headaches, dry mouth, muscle tension, fatigue. Emotional ones like an increase in anger, fear, depression and anxiety. Or behavioural, irritability, shortened temper, sleeping difficulties, and changes to appetite. Or simply thinking, poor concentration, forgetfulness, indecision, and negativity. Now, I want to share with you what we know about the stress response cycle, and this has been with us for probably tens of thousands of years. Now, if we have a look at the top in that square blue box, we see a source of threat, an event. Well, historically that might be the saber-toothed tiger galloping across the paddock ready to eat you down. Or lately it might be a conflict you have with a customer that, if not resolved, could cost you your job. Now, when you look to the right, if you have no perception of the threat, well, there's no problem. Well, there mightn't be a problem. You might just get eaten, or you might just lose your job. But if there is a perception there's a problem, straight away our body responds to this threat and releases a whole range of hormones like adrenaline for creating action or cortisol for creating alertness. And we might make a decision to run away from the saber-toothed tiger or stay and fight him, whatever it is. It is either fighting or fleeing, and that requires muscle activity that then burns off and uses that adrenaline. And the outcome of that creates room for other hormones to come in, like endorphins and opiates. And the endorphins actually help you create good decisions under pressure. That gives you clarity. And the opiates help you deal with the pain of the situation. So let's say the saber-toothed tiger gets a bit close and takes a chunk out of your shoulder. Well, the opiates help prevent the shock from paralysing you and having you stop. So in the modern situation, you might get a verbal attack from somebody. Well, the opiates from physical activity helps that verbal attack not become deep down and personal. So the calming and clarity helps you make good decisions. So the good decision might be picking the right tree to climb. A bad decision is you pick the wrong tree. Or a good decision means, well, you take a deep breath and you let that other person vent their spleen instead of thumping them. And that's a good decision. So you climb the tree. It allows you to rest. And you get some deep sleep, some healing. There's some recovery. And in the morning you go climb down out of the tree and continue across the paddock. Well, that's the process that allows you to survive and keep going. And it's been going on. You can go around in that cycle for a very long time. Or you can make a decision about fighting or fleeing, and that's the third dimension. That's called fright. That's where you decide to do virtually nothing. Or a behaviouralist might call this the hiding response. That means you climb under a rock and hope you don't get seen. Well, sometimes you don't get seen and don't get eaten. But in any case, there's no physical muscular activity. So there's no release of the anxiety hormones, no release of the endorphins or the opiates. There's no clarity. You can't make clear decisions. You tend to make dumb ones. You have another couple of coffees, or you tend to have another alcoholic drink when you know it's going to put you over the limit. All of these things, especially the unresolved adrenaline and cortisol, prevents refreshing sleep. So you don't get the deep sleep. So there is no recovery. Your autoimmune system becomes compromised. It's easy to get the flu. It's easy to get other disorders. In fact, serious illnesses can result because of uncontrolled, stressful events in your life. So there is no return. You can't climb back down out of the tree and continue across the savannah. You can't go back to work each day. This, on the inside cycle, is not sustainable, is it? So, surviving at work and managing the pressure, there are acute or short-term things, and there are chronic or medium to long-term things to do to manage this. The acute stuff is using a punching bag and vocalizing as you're punching the bag. That burns off the adrenaline and helps create the relaxation hormones. You can attack the stairs, run up the stairs. You can use the stress ball. That's a ball you throw against the wall. It just falls to the floor. You pick it up, you throw it against the wall again. Or you get on the rowing ergometer and you do 500 metres, 2 or 3 minutes on the rowing ergo. Or you do one set of weight training. Pick up the bar, lift it for one set, 10 to 20 reps, put it down. Now, if you do these things within 10 minutes of an event, this will help prevent the inside of the stress response cycle. This will help you keep going around and around the outside. Now, in the longer term, the chronic stuff, if you can't do the 10 minutes event, then you walk home, or you do some rhythmic activity, you ride the bike, or you do some dancing. You know how people get such relaxation out of dancing because they're listening to music at the same time as they're doing a rhythmic activity. Regular competition helps you burn off that adrenaline as well. Sport can be very useful. Or a regular holiday where you can escape all those stimuli. Or you go to the gym on a regular basis. Now, these should occur on the same day as a stressful event. And you should do these things in any case twice a week. So if you do these things, you may not be eaten. Now, here are some stress busters that really do help. The first is to acknowledge that there is stress in the first place. Get things into perspective as well. Is it stress or just a bit of an annoyance? Now, warm baths, saunas, showers and spas are very useful, especially in cold weather. They help create a release of the serotonin hormone that helps us be generally more satisfied. Laughter is fantastic. Look at the funny side of things. Using music, and by the way, the music should be appropriate. Melancholic music doesn't help when you're down. And exercise burns off the stress hormones and helps bring in the relaxation ones. Some others that help are mental rehearsal and positive self-talk. So you mentally rehearse what you're going to say in a stressful situation. So you've got one up your sleeve the moment it's necessary. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Many people create their own pressure by expecting themselves to be above average in perfection. Talk to someone, as we've spoken earlier. Write it down and burn it in the fire if it's bad news. And de-stress your environment, your desk and your workshop. Try to make it less of a dangerous place to be. And make sure you get the quality sleep, the REM sleep, which helps your brain repair and get ready for tomorrow. Now, there's one more thing I'd like to share with you about coping with pressure. And for some people who are doing very well and they're trying very hard, their fitness program is the biggest stress in their life, the biggest stressor anybody could inflict upon them. Now, let me just share with you this principle. It's called the General Adaptation Syndrome, or the GAS principle. And on the left-hand side, on the y-axis, is the fitness gain. And on the bottom, along the x-axis, is the time. And imagine the time in this model is 1 week. And you go to the gym at the beginning. That's the S. That's going to the gym. The first thing that happens when you have a workout or a run or a bike ride is you damage your body, so you go into the fatigue mode. Luckily, there's a second dimension, which is recovery. Body tends to heal. If it doesn't, we're in deep trouble. And the corresponding overcompensation is what we can think about as fitness gained. Now, if you think about where should you repeat the workout on this timeline, imagine this timeline is 1 week. Well, many folk would say, well, down the bottom here or at the top there, at the end. Well, if you do the same thing every day, you'll be repeating the stimulus at the very bottom of the trough of the fatigue. And you'll be drawing the benchmark downwards. So you'll be actually going backwards. That's called compound fatigue. And if you do that, you're going to feel under the pump. You're going to never really recover from any bout of exercise, and your body will be in continuous drive to heal itself. Now, the best time is to repeat the stimulus at the peak of the fitness gained, isn't it? At the peak of the overcompensation. And this will help bring or superimpose your fitness level up the scale. So if you then repeat the next one, you go up and up. And you get fitter often by doing workouts less frequently. So this is where twice a week of high intensity exercise is about as much as you should be doing, maybe 3 times if you've got a lot of organisation. If every stimulus is different, you can afford to do something every day. But if you're doing the same stimulus all the time, you'll be in compound fatigue all the time. But if you can do a different stimulus, a different type of exercise each day, you'll get away with that. But if you want to do exactly the same routine, make sure it's no more than twice a week. So, the full-time analysis for Game 4. Can we recognise the signs and symptoms of our own depression? And have we got a grip on eating and drinking differently? And will we be able to warm up for a workout or warm up for physical work by utilising the exercises that we've learned over the last 4 games? And can we cope with life in the pressure cooker by using the skills we talked about today? And the most important thing is, do we have balance in our work and recovery life cycle?
Now complete the quiz that looks at this video and return the results.